So we thought we'd talk about 5 ways to choose a tarot card today. And I, I'm not sure, Mary.
Hmm.
Um, sorry, I'm just blanking on it because I'm thinking to myself, it's like it seems super obvious. You know,
Yes.
you just cut and pull a card, but not really. I mean, a lot of people have ritual around this, and they feel like they have to do it a specific way. um
Mm.
all this techniques and things that we talk about, take it all with a grain of salt, throw it over your left shoulder, uh because there's no such thing as rules in tarot. People think there are, and in fact, that's one of our topics we're going to do in a future show. The 7 things you can actually ignore in tarot. But
Only seven.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
some people that are, especially when they're starting out, they really like to know different ways of doing things. And like I said earlier in the show, maybe we should have done the uh how to shuffle first, but we're going to do that in a later show. So right now we're going to talk about pulling a card. So this is, how to choose your card after you've shuffled. Okay. So you've shuffled your deck, and first of all, there's what I just said. Just pull a card. It's not a it's kind of a no-brainer kind of thing. After you shuffle, you may decide to cut the deck, and you may cut it into a few different piles, and then you might bring those piles back together, and then just choose a card off the top. Just choose a card off the top. It's that simple. It's that simple. But you can get, fancier with this kind of thing. A lot of people want to bring uh, synchronicity and intuition into play. So one way of doing that is, either with your eyes open or your eyes closed. You can actually hold the deck vertically and take your thumb and one of your fingers. I take the middle finger, and just feel the cards, a grouping of the cards in the center. And I usually close my eyes when I'm doing this. Now, some people say, always do choosing with the left hand, which you can do, your non-dominant hand. So for some people, that's the right hand, but for the majority of people, non-dominant is left. And, to choose with the left, I find that awkward because I'm right-handed. So I close my eyes, and I do use the left hand and all the other methods, but in this particular method, I like to, and, as soon as spirit talks to you, as soon as you feel it, just grab a center section, pulling it out, stick it on top, start reading off the top. So I call that the center pull method. There is the super world famous, the one you always see, the fanning of the cards, which for some reason I have never liked this, but a lot of people do. And a lot of clients expect it. That's, of course, when you fan out the cards on your spread cloth. Obviously, I can't do that. I don't have a down camera right now. Hopefully in the future, got to get me one of those arms, so I can put my iPhone or something, so I can switch between cameras so you can see what I'm doing. But you get the idea. You're fanning them out on the table on your spread cloth, and then you're going to pick your cards that way. Or if you're in person with somebody, they can pick the cards, choose their own cards. Or if you're remote and you do that, and you can move your hand across it and ask them to tell you where to stop in order to choose cards. If you're reading for yourself, or if you don't like doing it that way, want to do it a different way, Mr. Miyagi. So you do the Mr. Miyagi there. And what that does is that gets your energy flowing in your hands, and you can put your hands over the fanned cards, and with the eyes closed, the way I do it, or eyes closed or eyes open, you can feel where to stop and choose the cards. The Mr. Miyagi thing there just gets the energy flowing. There's some other methods that I've seen folks do using acupressure on the hands in different areas, kind of like EFT, only you're hitting certain points on the hand to activate. It's really the auric field is what you're trying to activate, and I'm like, why do that when you can just do the whole thing at once with the Mr. Miyagi, right? So we got just picking a car. We've got the fanning method. We've got the center pull. Then there's the guided shuffling. Guided shuffling is, you've already shuffled your cards. You may have cut the deck a few times and brought it back together. It's all nice and randomized. You've done a good job shuffling, and now you want to choose your card. And one thing you can do is just hold the cards in your hands and just go through them. And you might have your eyes closed like the way I like to do it, or eyes open, and you're just going and waiting for the universe, spirit, a gut instinct, your intuition, something to tell you, okay, this is where I need to stop, and then start pulling off the top. Or you could push up some cards and then intuitively choose them that way. That's another way. I just like everything nice and neat, Mary. So, I always, however I'm doing it, end up to the point where I'm just pulling cards off the top. And then the last method is my favorite. You've heard me say it on the show before. It's what I always do. So I shuffle the deck and I cut the deck. And of course, we'll go more into that when we do the segment on how to shuffle. But basically, I use numerology 9, and there is the overhand, the rifling, and then the cutting into piles and reassembling. And then I will do one of each of those, and I will do that 3 times. So that's 9. And I've done this usually way before I've gotten on the Zoom call with the client or met them in person. I do that way ahead of time, breaks up the energy. And I just like using numerology for a lot of things. Even when I'm turning the microwave on, Mary, I'm going, okay, I'm going to set that for 44 seconds. I use numerology for everything. So I've already shuffled the deck, and then I call it cutting to the heart of the matter. And so the deck is actually sitting on your table on your spread cloth. And what you're doing is you're running your fingers, and I'm using my left hand, my non-dominant hand, and you're going up and down. And when you feel where you want to stop, you cut the deck. And that's why it's called cutting the heart of the matter. And that card, when you've cut the deck, that is the heart of the matter card. The part of the deck that you've taken it off of, I put on top, pull the heart of the matter card, put it down, put the deck down, and then I'm pulling off the top my cards like that. I call that the cutting to the heart of the matter. So those are 5 ways you can choose a tarot card. Anything you want to say about that, Mary? About choosing a tarot card? What do you do?
Oh, me?
I don't think I know. I don't know how you do it.
How I do it, my focus completely, I do it in different ways. Okay. If I'm doing it for a reading, like a real reading for myself or for a client, and I do most of my readings remotely, but I use the same method even when I do a psychic fair and stuff. Is like I keep my entire focus on the question. The focus is on the question. That's why I'm drawing cards. That's why I'm
Mm.
shuffling cards. That's why I'm doing anything I'm doing during a reading is for the question, right? So, and I riffle shuffle. I shuffle usually at least 3 times on a question, and then I cut the deck and start laying out the cards. And the cards that are supposed to come up in answer to that question are the ones that come up. Now, if I'm pulling like a card of the day to like post on social media, or just for myself or for a friend or something, it really depends on the deck. These little like today, the card of the day I drew from this little crystal wisdom deck. They're little teeny tiny, so they're fun to just kind of do like that.
Oh
And
yeah, perfect
when
size.
I do that, what the only thing that I really do like about this method is that like I'll do it like loosely. Whoops, and see,
Uh,
two
uh,
cards came out and those are the cards. So it's like whatever
what
falls
falls will
down.
come.
Yeah, what falls on the floor comes to the door, as they say. But yeah, usually I just do that. And I do feel like the method that you choose
Hmm.
for picking a card, as well as the method that you choose for shuffling, which we'll talk about on a different show. That'll be fun actually to do a show on. Um, to me, that's one of the most fundamental decisions that we make as a tarot reader. Like right from the beginning, you've got to decide, how are you drawing cards? What
Mm.
method are you going to use? How are you going to shuffle? Because that is like, you got to do it your way, because that builds your confidence as a reader, and in,
Hmm.
in in yourself and in your cards. So you do what you want to do, what's so comfortable that you're not even thinking about the method anymore. You're not thinking about, is this the right way to do it? It's become your way of doing it. So the 5 ways that you showed, you illustrated very well. And then, you know, my example, I guess, of just keeping your focus on the question,
Yeah.
and shuffle and cut, those are just some ways to try and see if they fit you. And you probably will come up with your own way. It could be a combination of those.
Hmm.